What's going on, YouTube? In the auto industry, certain segments tend to have a lot of redesigns at the same time. And that's certainly been the case for the full-size SUVs recently. After many years, Nissan has finally put out an all-new generation of its Armada. And this time around, it's got the space, luxury, and technology to truly compete against rivals, like the also recently redesigned Toyota Sequoia. But if you're looking to buy one of these big SUVs soon, which Japanese heavyweight is the best choice? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Now before we get into it, let's discuss the pricing and equipment levels. If you haven't looked at full-size SUVs in a while, you might be surprised at just how expensive these have gotten. We're looking at the fully loaded examples of both, so on the Toyota, that's the Capstone trim. With 4-wheel drive, destination, and just a few options, we're setting right at $88,000. You'll be happy to know that the Nissan does reflect a more affordable price tag than the Toyota, but not by as much as you might think. In its top trim, Platinum Reserve with 4-wheel drive, our total price is just over $85,000. By the way, if you want to get the best price from local dealerships and access to invoice pricing info for these two models or any vehicle, we have a tool on our website to do just that. It's quite helpful when shopping, so check the link in the description for more info. If you haven't seen one of our comparisons in the past, they are conducted objectively. We've done our best to weigh the points awarded throughout in major and minor categories, and at the end we'll discuss the pricing difference in the value section as well as resale and reliability. But with that being said, let's see who does it best. So starting here with the exteriors, you'll see handsome and bold designs that show you spent the big bucks for their top trims. The Armada takes the sportier approach between the two, with black mesh and some subtle chrome accents. Toyota, on the other hand, goes for chrome to the max degree on this Capstone model. And while points won't be awarded for design preferences, we do have some lighting differences. Both feature premium full LED projector headlights and LED fog lamps, but it's only the Sequoia that has dynamic turn signals. Heading to the sides, both have big boxy shapes, and as expected, are massive lengthwise. Even though they're only about an inch apart, you'll definitely want to stay tuned for the back seats and cargo areas later in the comparison, because they are way more different than you might expect. While neither will fit in the average garage or offer extended wheelbase versions, both will throw in massive wheels. They size in at 22 inches and have premium contrast designs, though only Armada offers several two-tone paint schemes for the roof, which helps customize its design. Heading around to the rear, they feature a boxy and tough look, and for features mostly match each other. Both their lighting is fully LED, but only the Nissan has a hidden rear wiper to keep it from being weathered as much. Towing is impressive on both, but the Sequoia leads here by about 5.5%, at around 9,000 pounds versus 8,500 in the Armada. Now moving past the designs, both SUVs are loaded with features, like mirrors that heat, fold, automatically dim, and include blind spot monitoring. And as far as all the other safety features, both give you every single system as standard equipment for 2025. The only difference is that our Nissan has the optional ProPilot 2.1 system, which allows for some hands-free driving and auto lane changing on highways. That's something worth considering for road tripping vehicles like these. Lastly, on the outside, we have the warranties, where they have the exact same coverage now that Nissan added complimentary maintenance for the 2025 model year. But that's the end of the exterior comparison, so now let's get to the impressively luxurious interiors. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
So walking up to the vehicles, both are obviously going to have smart entry systems with remote start. However, it's only the Armada that has it on the fob free for life. On the flip side, it's the Armada that does not have sensors behind the door handle to unlock. One important difference is that the Nissan does not have power running boards as an available option. That makes getting in a bit harder versus the Sequoia. But starting with the seats themselves, both Sequoia and Armada have heated and ventilated seats with memory, and even massaging functions for the front seats. However, the Sequoia has a few more ways of adjustment since it includes power thigh extension, and it also has higher end semi-aniline leather. Now, as far as the broader interior materials, both dress to impress and have appointments more in common with luxury nameplates. Across both upper and middle dashboards, you'll find leather coverings, real wood accents, stitching patterns that break up the space. Overall, they seem pretty much equivalent and are incredibly nice. Now after startup, you'll find full digital gauge clusters on both of them. The Sequoia's is 12.3 inches, and the Armada, after its redesign, gets a big tech upgrade to 14.3 inches. That's about 15% more screen real estate, and both of them include large head-up displays as well. Of course, it pretty much goes without saying that both have heated, leather-wrapped steering wheels with power adjustment and rain-sensing wipers. Armada includes high-end leather though, that even extends to the airbag cover. Now the next major place to evaluate is interior storage, where both of them are very large as expected. Both have advantages and disadvantages, starting with the main console area. Here the Sequoia pulls ahead with a larger center console, fitting a whopping 24 donuts. Both have a good amount of storage in the front with wireless phone charging pads. But, on the flip side, it's only the Armada that includes a pass-through storage area underneath. The reason for that is because the Armada has an electronic shifter, while Toyota kept a traditional shifter. Regardless of your preference, both display multi-view 360-degree cameras when in reverse. The Nissan's has a bit more features though, with the ability to expand over both displays and have a detailed 3D spin. For climate, both have 3-zone automatic setups and physical knobs to control the important functions like temperature. Both also have knobs to control their audio systems, so let's sample them. Well, the Sequoia has a 2-speaker advantage. In our experience with audio systems of all price points, it's the Klipsch audio that has a much richer sound versus the Toyota's JBL. Now moving on to the screens. These are big center points of the interiors. The Sequoia used to have a big advantage here with its 14-inch display, but now Nissan has the slight advantage. It has a 14.3-inch screen, which isn't enough of a difference to score a point. Regardless though, both of them have great resolution, and for software, both allow you to have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but only the Armada comes with Google Apps built in. That allows you to have native access to things like Google Maps. Finally, ending the front areas, both have rear camera mirrors and large panoramic moonroofs. But since these are giant 3-row SUVs, there's still a lot to talk about in the back areas of the cabin. Here, they ironically have the exact same legroom figure and nearly the same headroom measures as well. The features are also largely the same, both having their own climate controls, captain's chairs, heated seats, and USB ports. However, the Capstone Sequoia also includes seat ventilation, something that's only available on the more expensive Infiniti QX80. Moving past that, only the Sequoia has a rear window sunshade and a household outlet. But, fighting back, it's the Armada's rear seats that can slide forward and back to allow for distribution of space between the second and third row. Moving on to that next row of seats, we see some more significant differences. Before we even get back there, you'll see that it's only the Armada's folding mechanism that would allow a child seat to remain installed. The advantages continue in the Nissan's favor when it comes to space and comfort as well. The Sequoia went away from an independent rear suspension for this new generation, which means that even though the legroom number is competitive, the reality is Sequoia feels a lot more cramped. The higher floor reduces thigh support and headroom, as you can clearly see. For features, both have vents and power reclining, but only the Sequoia has third row sunshades. The same situation plays out in the cargo area after opening up their hands-free power tailgates. The independent rear suspension and lack of battery packs under the floor allow the Nissan to deliver significantly more space across all three seating configurations. The Sequoia has a cargo management system to try to make up for the raised floor and the way the seats fold, but the Nissan is certainly the way to go for max space and versatility. Features-wise, they both have power folding third rows and full-size spare tires. But only the Armada has buttons to fold the second row from the cargo area, and only the Sequoia's rear glass pops independently from the tailgate. It's still a tight race, so now let's take them out on the road. Now these two models have been very different throughout this video, but we see some more similarities under their hoods. For these new generations, both have moved to 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6s from the previous V8s. That's not to say they are the same though, since we have some big differences. The Armada remains a full gas powertrain, while the Toyota has a standard hybridized setup. All that equates to 425 and 437 horsepower in the Armada and Sequoia respectively, which is not enough of a difference to score a point for horsepower, but torque does lean in the Toyota's favor with a 12% advantage.
All right. There's a little bit past 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Dang, I think the Sequoia knew it was on camera. That's faster than it has been for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I mean, when you go full throttle, honestly, I mean, of course, day-to-day driving, you don't go full throttle that often, but yeah, full throttle, that torque tickled me belly. All right.
Nice.
That was 60 miles per hour in this new Armada. So, as we discussed in the first part of our review, and I'll just go ahead and recap, big changes to what's under the hood. So previously, we had that 5.6 liter V8. That was kind of a signature engine for the Nissan brand, but times are changing. Now we need less cylinders, a little bit better fuel economy and emissions. So we're switching to a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 instead. This is part of the VR family, and it makes more power and significantly more torque. So 425 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. Again, big improvements over that previous V8 engine. As far as the transmissions are concerned, the Nissan and Toyota have 9 and 10-speed autos respectively. Both are nice and responsive, and power is put to the ground via four-wheel drive systems as equipped.
It's kind of more gingerly taking off there. I do want to talk about your 10-speed automatic transmission that you have on board with this Sequoia. So it's a very good transmission. Certainly, we've had no issues with it over the past week. It gives you exactly the power that you need when you need it.
Now, let's talk about the other element of the powertrain, and that's our 9-speed automatic transmission. I think this is a really good partner to this engine. It really seems to keep it nicely in its power band. When you punch it, you don't have to wait very long at all to get that downshift and access to the additional power. But perhaps as important as performance is ride quality. The Armada has a significant advantage here that begins with that independent rear suspension we already mentioned. It also has a full air suspension standard on Platinum Reserve. so it shouldn't come as a surprise that the ride is smoother and more controlled than the truck-like feel that you get with the Sequoia. It uses a solid rear axle, adaptive dampers, and it has an available rear air suspension, but that's mostly useful just for load leveling while towing. Additionally, it's the Armada with better on-road driving dynamics, courtesy of its intelligent digital suspension. That allows the suspension to compensate for body roll, and makes it feel surprisingly nimble and more confident on a tighter road. It has a kind of a more traditional truck feel, so if you're comparing to something like a Tahoe with the optional air suspension, it's not going to be comparable to that. It is definitely going to be a little bit rougher than that.
Now, I also want to just take a second to discuss ride quality as well. I'll go ahead and toggle us back into the standard drive mode to discuss ride quality. Now, when it comes to that, like Drew mentioned, he said the big element of this Armada is the fact that we have an adaptive air suspension. That's a full air suspension as well. So unlike the Sequoia, where it's just a rear air suspension, this is a full air suspension that really helps improve your overall ride quality to get you the best ride as well as the best dynamics. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with it. They've done a fantastic job. It does a great job of soaking up the bumps, even with the large 22s on the outside. I really have no complaints. Also, these seats are Nissan Zero Gravity seats, so one of the best ride qualities in the segment.
And as far as sound insulation, here at Car Confections, we test every car we review at 55 miles per hour to see how quiet they are. Both come in at good figures, even though we can't officially score them due to the Armada's test being in Tennessee on a media drive. But here are the scores for your reference. Alrighty, so it looks like the lowest we're getting here is 58.7.
Sitting at 54 decibels is what we're getting here in Tennessee.
Finally, when it comes to fuel economy, the hybrid Sequoia takes the lead. It comes in 3 mpg better combined than the gas Armada, which will make a difference over the lifetime of owning these two. In our reviews and comparisons, we are also adding in resale and reliability information to give you a better picture of value beyond just the original MSRP. Beginning with reliability, we developed the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic picture. In this respect, the Toyota excels. Toyota takes the number 1 slot of all vehicle brands, 16 slots above the industry average, giving it plus 1.6 points. Meanwhile, Nissan ranks in at 2 slots below the industry average, taking away 0.2 points. We also put Mason's economics degree to work to develop a detailed predicted resale value tool. After 5 years and 60,000 miles, the Toyota takes a significant lead. It comes in with a predicted resale value of 64.5%, and the Nissan at 50.5%. That roughly 14% difference will give the Toyota plus 1.4 points. Resale is obviously important because it determines how much money you get back, but we can't forget about the price difference at the original purchase. There is a $3,080 difference between the two of them, which gives 0.75 points to the Nissan. I want to emphasize that if money, reliability, or resale value matter less to you personally, feel free to disregard these points. And if you'd like to check out all our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head over to carconfections.com/resale and /reliability. Buying a car is a big decision, and this is a great place to compare all the makes that you might be cross-shopping. So that's it for another exciting comparison, this time between 2 Japanese heavyweight full-size SUVs. But let's go ahead and recap a little bit and talk about who should be your personal winner based on what's most important to you. Well, you should probably choose the Sequoia if you're interested in having the maximal tow rating. Also, if you want higher resale and reliability, the Toyota gives you that. The hybrid powertrain as well has advantages with better fuel economy and more power.
And then also, you just have a few bougie features that Nissan has not integrated into the Armada, including ventilated back seats, power running boards, and rear sunshades.
Now, on the flip side, the newcomer
Cucumber, newcomer.
Now, on the flip side, the Armada should be your choice if you value a couple different things. First of all, it has significantly better cargo capacity and a third row. That's really a main reason why you buy in this segment, is for those things, and the Sequoia is honestly a little bit lacking in those areas. Now, also the drive experience is better. It has a full air suspension and a special suspension setup that actually helps it to handle a lot better on a back road. Additionally, it has some technology advantages as well as Google built-in and ProPilot hands-free driving, which is something that's not available on the Sequoia. So which one of these two full-size SUVs are you taking? Let us know your thoughts down below. Also, if you're looking to buy either one of them, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But thanks so much for joining in on this Car Confections comparison. If you enjoyed watching, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're not already, we'd love to welcome you in. We do a lot of these comparisons as well as reviews and other types of helpful videos. I promise you won't want to miss out. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.